credentials, you'd think I'm a university professor or something. People who talk to more sleeping people at any one time than anyone else, I think. I have a notoriety of actually once having only one person in my class and the person fell asleep. How I could have been that boring is beyond me, but I will try to not do that today, though after the wonderful lunch we had with wine and all, a soporific meal like that will probably just take you all down, and no matter how funny I am or what lively, I brought Bob Marley, just in case you fall asleep. You know, the Solitude doesn't know, I'll just put on some reggae and calypso and so on. I'm glad to be here and to tell you some of the things that I've been discovering in my research and some of my work. And what we want to do this afternoon is, first of all, look at our own stories of stress and how we react to it, some of the symptoms we have, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that gets stressed occasionally. Then I'll give you a very quick overview, quick because you probably know most of the stuff. That's why I said boring overheads. They're intentionally in black and white because it's the kind of stuff you've seen over the years, you've read in papers, and I'm not going to dwell a long time on the stuff you already know. Rather go on to some of the new stress strategies, the one that I've called psycho-cybersonics, and I'll explain in a little while. Talk a little bit about some exciting new brainwave research that's there, and then show you how you can control your stress with Bartel. Natural Stress Relief is the name of the CD that I worked on, among others, and we'll give you a little demo of that. So, you, of course, need no reminder that stress is in the news, and with the bank mergers being called off, probably there are a whole lot of people rather stressed today trying to figure out which branch are we going to close, or which one is going to close, and will I be out of a job? And so it is not new to us that stress is, in fact, very real. Stress probably feels a little like this. It feels like that to me occasionally. I've had stressful experiences in all sorts of contexts, as you probably have had. I had a couple of kids, still have a couple of kids, growing out of the most stressful stage by now. My daughter's 23 and a successful graphic design student at George Brown College, and my son is in the best business. He's a winemaker, and he only works 20 hours a week, because when you're making wine, why would you want to work anymore? And one of the fringe benefits is that he can drink on the job. But they did present some stress. I also used to sing opera, and that had its own stress and performance anxiety. Particularly one day I remember when I had a new set of contacts in, and I was a rogue in some opera, I forget the name of it, and I was thrown into prison where there was a lot of straw on the floor, real straw. New contacts, straw on the floor, very high notes is what I wanted to sing. And I did manage to sing my part, but it was the sort of stress that Hans Selye first identified with stress, that is the physiological reaction when the system itself gets stressed. I raised money for a year for a library project. I was a director of development, and I had grown up as, it was said in the agribusiness as a beekeeper, and I do have a tattoo on my arm of a bee. And I got that quite recently, not because I'm a biker, but because I wanted to get something for my son for his 18th birthday. And I thought, now, a guy who plays rock music, and what would he really treasure, not lose? So I got him a tattoo, and I went to the tattoo studio with him, and we both got tattooed simultaneously. It was a little stressful as I saw the skulls up there. But during the time that I was a beekeeper, I did experience stress. One of the crucial moments in this business is when you pick up the hives, put them on a truck, and move them to a new location, which we did much too often, more for my taste. But my father was a migratory sort of beekeeper, and I remember one crucial July evening when my father wasn't feeling so good, and I was about 18, and of course needed to take responsibility. And so out we went to the field, picked up these hives with about 100,000 bees in each one. Literally, that's what there's in a hive in the end of July. Put them on the truck, ready to go. My dad was in the truck, I was looking after, finishing off. We went through the little dip onto the road, and I heard the worst sound a beekeeper could hear, which is crashing hives. All those 100,000 bees now were not in their hives anymore, but they were walking around in the truck, because in the dark, they don't fly, they just walk, waiting to walk up my pant legs into my cuffs, right where my tattoo is. Well, what do? You deal with a problem. Got a assemble the hives, many stings later. But the worst probably was not the stings. That does put a toxin in the blood, and that is, again, Hans Selye's definition of stress originally. But it was embarrassment for my failure, and it was the fear of just walking into that kind of environment. Fear, embarrassment, and natural stressors is what we deal with. They may be the bank merger, they may be something else. They may not be bees. Hopefully for you they're not, but nonetheless they're there. What I'd like you to do is take 2 minutes and do a neighbor nudge. Turn to somebody beside you, 2 or 3 people together, and tell the person beside you what stresses you and what symptoms you have when you're stressed. Okay? You're not yet asleep? Do it now. Get very excited about stress. Stress is a very good thing sometimes, and indeed it is. We don't want to eliminate all stress because without stress we'd just be sitting around on a couch getting very little accomplished. We need something that gets up and going. So let's hear somebody tell us what you were told. This is like, tell us some gossip. What stresses people in here?
He's late.
Being late stresses you.
Violent anger.
If somebody's violently angry at you.
The presence of that.
Right, okay, excellent.
Too much to do.
Too much to do. Traffic, yeah, that drives me crazy.
Uncertainty. Uncertainty.
Uncertainty.
Not enough time.
Public speaking.
You get a project.
Not enough time. Time constraints. Somebody over here.
Teenagers.
Teenagers. Something else.
Lack of control.
Lack of control. Symptoms. What happens to you when you are stressed?
Get a headache.
Headache.
Increased heart rate.
Increased heart rate. Blood pressure.
Sweaty palms.
Upset stomach. Fidgety. Aggressive. Tears. Can't sleep. Shut down. Yes, those are the things that happen. Let's take a look.